Good morning. This is Devotional 392, and today's date is January 24th, 2018. We have been looking at the subject of the wrath of God this week, and today I'd like us to consider what the Bible teaches about man being accountable to God. Our 3 points are: number 1, man is made in the image of God. Number 2, man chose to rebel. And number 3, God's justice will prevail. No other creature that God made during the 6 days of creation is quite like man. The reason for this is because man was made in the very image and likeness of his Maker, according to Genesis 1:26-27. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. This concept is also repeated in Genesis 9:6. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God made he man. Man was created perfectly by God. That is, he was endowed with mental, physical, and spiritual capabilities in order to serve God and enjoy fellowship with him. In Genesis 1:28-29, we learned that Adam and Eve were blessed by God and had direct communication with him. They were to bear children and rule over the rest of God's magnificent world. God had indeed supplied everything for them. They lacked nothing. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, "Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth." And God said, "Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat." Continuing on in Genesis 2:8-9 and 15, we learn that Adam and Eve were placed in the pristine Garden of Eden. And Eden is a word which means pleasure or delight. And Adam was to serve and obey God in the task of dressing and keeping the garden. And Jehovah God planted a garden eastward in Eden. And there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made Jehovah God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And Jehovah God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. Adam also was given the job of naming all of the animals in that beautiful environment in which God had placed them, according to Genesis 2:19. And out of the ground Jehovah God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam, to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. Unfortunately, this idyllic situation was short-lived, because Adam and Eve tragically failed a test that was set up by God as we read in Genesis 3:11 through 14. And he said, this is God speaking, "Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat?" And the man said, "The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat." And Jehovah God said unto the woman, "What is this that thou hast done?" And the woman said, "The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat." And Jehovah God said unto the serpent, "Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life." The awareness of Adam and Eve's physical nakedness merely served to underscore their spiritual nakedness, which meant they had died spiritually, and they deserved the just punishment of death and annihilation for their disobedience. However, this would not take place for many hundreds of years later. Their fall into sin also compelled them to foolishly think they could do something to cover their physical nakedness. And that is the reason they sewed fig leaves together in a futile attempt to hide their underlying spiritual nakedness, thus adding sin to sin, as sin tragically and exponentially multiplies in the life of the sinner. We note the progression of sin in James 1:14 through 15. "But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust, and enticed. Then, when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death." It's important to recognize that God has obligated himself as a just judge to punish sin, and that man is completely accountable to God for his sin because he was created in the image of God, as we have just considered. As a righteous ruler or judge, God must punish sin, which the Bible defines as transgression of the law in 1 John 3:4. Although God was extremely patient with mankind during the day of salvation, which, by the way, lasted 13,023 years until May 21, 2011. However, this does not in any way diminish the fact that God hates sin and hates sinners. We read in Psalm 7:11, "God judgeth the righteous, and God is angry with the wicked every day." He absolutely will judge and punish all who are not his children. 2 Peter 2:9 provides this commentary regarding our present day of judgment. "The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished."